The mind is not a vessel to be filled, but a fire to be kindled. All men whilst they are awake are in one common world, but each of them, when he is asleep, is in a world of his own. It's a thing of no great difficulty to raise objections against another man's oration. It is a very easy matter. But to produce a better in its place is a work extremely troublesome. They insist upon the shaving of the mustache, I think, in order that they may accustom the young men to obedience in the most trifling matters. I would rather excel in the knowledge of what is excellent than the extent of my power or possessions. Vultures are the most righteous of birds. They do not attack even the smallest living creature. To make an action honorable, it ought to be agreeable to the age and other circumstances of the person. Since it is circumstance and proper measure that give an action its character, and make it either good or bad. All beyond this is portentous and fabulous, inhabited by poets and mythologers, and there is nothing true or certain. An imbalance between rich and poor is the oldest and most fatal ailment of all republics. Many things which cannot be overcome when they are together yield themselves up when taken little by little. The truly pious must negotiate a difficult course between the precipice of godlessness and the marsh of superstition. Neither blame or praise yourself. The malicious humor of men, though perverse and refractory, is not so savage and invincible, but it may be wrought upon by kindness, and altered by repeated obligations. Know how to listen, and you will profit even from those who talk badly. Evidence of trust begets trust, and love is reciprocated by love. Prosperity is no just scale. Adversity is the only balance to weigh friends. And, to say truly, the greatest benefit that learning bringeth unto men is this, that it teacheth men that be rough and rude of nature, by compass and rule of reason, to be civil and courteous, and to like better the mean state than the higher. In words are seen the state of mind and character and disposition of the speaker. If the "know thyself" of the oracle were an easy thing for every man, it would not be held to be a divine injunction. Thus they let their anger and fury take from them the sense of humanity, and demonstrated that no beast is more savage than man when possessed with power answerable to his rage. The poor go to war, to fight and die for the delights, riches, and superfluities of others. The process may seem strange, and yet it is very true. I did not so much gain the knowledge of things by the words, as words by the experience I had of things. The superstitious man wishes he did not believe in gods, as the atheist does not, but fears to disbelieve in them. Do not speak of your happiness to one less fortunate than yourself. Even so, the more a vicious man denies his vice, the more does it insinuate itself and master him, as those people really poor who pretend to be rich get still more poor from their false display. Of all the disorders in the soul, envy is the only one no one confesses to. To make no mistakes is not in the power of man. but from their errors and mistakes the wise and good learn wisdom for the future. Courage consists not in hazarding without fear, but being resolutely minded in a just cause. Adversity is the only balance to weigh friends. Painting is silent poetry, and poetry is painting that speaks. The mind is not a vessel to be filled but a fire to be kindled. The whole of life is but a moment of time. It is our duty, therefore, to use it, not to misuse it. To the dolphin alone, beyond all other, nature has granted what the best philosophers seek, friendship for no advantage. The whole life of a man is but a point of time, let us enjoy it. No beast is more savage than man when possessed with power answerable to his rage. But for the sake of some little mouthful of flesh we deprive a soul of the sun and light, and of that proportion of life and time it had been born into the world to enjoy. A few vices are sufficient to darken many virtues. I am all that hath been, and is, and shall be, and my veil no mortal has hitherto raised. It is part of a good man to do great and noble deeds, though he risk everything. Courage stands halfway between cowardice and rashness, one of which is a lack, the other an excess of courage. Books delight to the very marrow of one's bones. They speak to us, consult with us, and join with us in a living and intense intimacy. The fact is that men who know nothing of decency in their own lives are only too ready to launch foul slanders against their betters and to offer them up as victims to the evil deity of popular envy. To be ignorant of the lives of the most celebrated men of antiquity is to continue in a state of childhood all our days. I don't need a friend who changes when I change and who nods when I nod. My shadow does that much better. It is a true proverb, that if you live with a lame man, you will learn to limp. Silence at the proper season is wisdom, and better than any speech.